Excluding my mom, what's the worst sex you've ever had? Late to the party, but I'll pitch in. Went on a first date with a guy. Ended up getting shit-faced. I'm a classy lady. We f***ed in a bush at a park, which was pretty disappointing. But not the story. I'm drunk as all hell. We take a cab back to his. We go to sleep. I wake up to him dry humping my ass and putting his hands all over me. I'm tired and frustrated and just want to sleep, but figure if we get it over and done with, he'd leave me alone. He goes down on me, which basically entails him chewing my labia for a while. Now, I'm on my period. He knows this. Doesn't care. Comes up again. Starts shoving his tongue down my throat. Good times. I can't breathe too well and I feel like I'm going to vomit, but oh well, just go with the flow. He puts his hands down my pants and flails them around a bit. I give him a sad hand job with prompting from him, which included him putting my hands down his pants until he says I can stop. I apologize and tell him I'm tired. He laughs. Says he figured that. Says he'll let me sleep. He gets up, sits on the bed. I'm chilling, trying to sleep. I'm exhausted. I figure maybe he's just being contemplative or something, until he starts shuddering. I sit up, ask him if he's okay. Yeah, oh, okay. He's masturbating. I lay back down and contemplate my life choices again. He continues to shudder for about 5 more minutes before he gets up, wandering around for a little, and then gets back into bed and starts dry humping my ass again. Eventually he gives up, and while I don't get to go back to sleep, he makes me coffee, which is nice. I leave. This happened 6 hours ago. Ah yes, the good old days. I was but a young freshman in college, and upon finding out the girl I had lost my virginity to 6 months prior was cheating on me, I did some silly things. After about a week of drinking with the roommate and trying to get out of the funk, I met a girl 2 floors down, recently dumped, also drinking alone, and we just clicked. Looking back, it was obviously the alcohol, but I thought she was great. We keep drinking together, and at some point my roommate goes to bed, so we head down to her room, very drunk at this point. Although she was much more than I, she starts to make out with me. I notice there is much more to tongue and saliva than I'm used to. I forge ahead, excited. She suggests we get in bed. I agree, happily. Then I notice she has a lofted bed, the kind where you put a couch or desk underneath, and then sleep on the top bunk. So we get up there, and there is not much room, maybe 1.5 feet to the ceiling, so we get naked, and handsy. She is very drunk. Then she says she wants to 69. I agree, although I had reservations. I had never done it before. She, with not a little difficulty, flips around and mounts me. Not 2 minutes in, her head stops moving. I stop and listen, and she's snoring in the strangest way, almost like she had a dick in her mouth and had fallen asleep on it. So I tap her shoulder, say her name, nothing. Then I lift her head off of my rapidly flaccidating penis, being careful of the ceiling. Then, I attempt to remove myself from beneath her sleeping loins. Now, here's the thing. I wasn't a small guy. I worked out and such. Not huge but not tiny. And she was average size, but a runner. She had very large legs. So when I went to lift her, she hit the ceiling, and I couldn't get enough clearance to get out from under her. I ended up sleeping the until she woke up, which was 9 hours later. How did you breathe? Did you use a pussy snorkel? More just embarrassing than anything, but my girlfriend had been teasing me all day by touching me, but never going further than that. By the end of the day she's all excited thinking it will be great sex with all of the build-up, but I feel like I could burst just thinking about it. Came in like 30 seconds. Dude. Next time laugh and say you were excited and then focus on her for a little while till your Johnson is ready again. If you're not using condoms, have her clean it off first. Make sure barrel is clear as well. Take a pee. I totally do this all the time and it's not awkward at all. It can even be really nice. Was giving my boyfriend oral sex, and when he thrust into my mouth, his penis went under my tongue and tore the membrane that connects your tongue to the bottom of your mouth. Couldn't move my tongue for about 3 weeks. So, you were speechless. Bar dumb Tish. I got a disclaimer right off the bat, it's been a while, but that wasn't even the problem. He shaved his entire body and was just starting to grow back. Being a hairy fella, every inch of him was covered in needle-like stubble. Thank God it had been a while for him, because if it was any longer than the 20 seconds it was, I would have been bloody all over my body from his stubble rubbing against me. Worst sex I've ever had hands down was with my current girlfriend the second time we went out. Went on a hike. It was raining. Got into it on top of a mountain. I'd imagined it would be thrilling and badass. I never imagined having a half-chub trying to stab this poor girl while a rock dug into her back. We were both shivering and tired after that, yet she stuck around for 3 years and much better sex. She stuck around for 3 years and much better sex. Who's she banging now? Self-heating massage oils that read for external use only are not around with that warning label. Minute 1 great sex. Minute 2 that's a little warm. Minute 3 both of us curled up in a fetal position with ice packs on our junk. The classic pull back, thrust forward, and bend. Could not get back in the mood after that pain. Should have gone with the bend and snap. Always works. My wife is a notorious pecker-wrecker. Right in the middle of sex she'll say something like, "By the way, my parents wanted to know if we're free this weekend. Or did you remember to fix the washer?" I'll usually just stop and politely ask if we can discuss it at another time. We were in my car after work near the woods. Halfway through, someone bangs on the window yelling, "What the f*** are you doing?" It was her ex-boyfriend. Was cutting up some jalapeno for dinner, got frisky afterwards and decided to finger her. She starts screaming from jalapeno residue still on my fingers. After she cools down we decide to have sex. I start screaming from jalapeno residue still in her vag. We called it a night. Buckle up guys, because you're in for a story. Several years ago, seeing a local girl and she's at my place. Lovely evening moves on to some light kissing, some touching, and pretty soon we're naked. I'm lying back on my bed. She's down using her mouth on me. Now being the gentleman that I am focused on holding in a fart. I could leave and head to the bathroom, but she's seriously good, sir. I'm just putting all my energy on keeping that fart inside me. Nothing too difficult. I can handle this if I keep my attention away from how great her mouth feels and focus on keeping my ass shut. After a while of fantastic tongue action, she looks up at me from between my legs and says, "Don't worry." Now up until now I hadn't been worried at all. I was enjoying this evening. I was fully aware of the situation, and I had absolutely no cause to worry about anything. But now she told me not to worry. I started worrying. I started worrying a lot. What was she into? Now, what I would like to say happened next is this. She gently eased a very well lubricated thumb slowly inside my back passage, while keeping me in her mouth, and treated me with care and dignity. That did not happen. This happened. She said, "Don't worry." I started worrying, and then within a second, she rammed her thumb up my ass. Deep and dry. It felt like sandpaper being parted by a cheese grater. The shock of having a thumb forced inside me with the force of 1,000 suns caused several things to happen. 1, I screamed. 2, I half sat up. And 3rd and possibly worst, I released the fart I was holding, which was not, as she suddenly discovered, a dry one. Her thumb was fully inside me and I released my clenched sphincter to allow the deep rumbling liquid hell forth. Picture what happens to the water when you put your thumb over the end of a hose pipe and spray it into the air, then replace water with shart, hose pipe with my ass, and the air with her face. She, understandably, jerked hard backward from the brown spray. However, in doing this, she pulled her thumb straight back out of me. I clenched harder than a camel's eye in a sandstorm, and then for some reason, came. She screamed, and ran to the bathroom and turned the shower on. I fell back onto my pillow smelling of sweat. *T and cum. We don't talk anymore. Are the story few people in my real life know about. I had a girlfriend who was really into anal and I'm not so much into it, especially when it comes to me getting something up my ass. We've been dating for about a month when she tried the old finger up the tailpipe while blowing me. I jumped straight up on reflex and accidentally deep-throated the poor girl and she vomited on me. So I had mixed emotions between feeling violated, pissed off, disgusted, embarrassed, And sorry for everything that just happened in less than 5 seconds. We had a talk and I told her that my backdoor was a no-go zone and I'm also not into spelunking no matter who was receiving. So I thought that was the end of it. That was until about another month goes by and we're going at it again and she tried to shove a dildo up my ass. At least this time she wasn't blowing me at the time and I flew off the bed and into the wall while screaming no, no, no in a very feminine high-pitched squeal. For some reason that chick was very into anal and I didn't trust her enough not to try to shove something up my ass, so we broke up. It's too bad. That chick was perfect except for the surprise sodomy. Asterisk enough with the you should have kept her ORBB more open bullshit. When I was a child things happened with a babysitter where I'm very uncomfortable about the topic. Keep your dick holsters shut for sake and stop trying to force sex acts onto people that are uncomfortable with those sex acts. I'm a grown adult and I can decide for myself what I am and am not willing to do. I had an asthma attack midway through sex with some random dude. I'm a woman. He was on top in missionary and I started gasping and trying to push him off me so I could get my inhaler. He starts saying, "Oh, you like that?" and went harder. He thought I was coming. I was not. I'm sorry, but this is hilarious as someone with asthma. Bought some really expensive leather wrist and ankle restraints for my girlfriend. We have tied up before and she was really into it. We strapped her down and started getting freaky. Then out of nowhere she starts crying and shit. Like really upset. Turns out she hates being tied up and was just playing along before cause she wanted to make me happy. Worst feeling ever. He had a micropenis. I truly couldn't feel anything. I could have worked with him if he'd been generous going down on me, but he refused because he thought it was weird. LMAO. If that is his situation, you think he would be overly generous. First girlfriend in high school that I had sex with. She was bisexual, but I thought she might just be a lesbian. Most times she would literally just lay on her back and not move. She refused to touch my dick. 90% of the time I couldn't even come. The first time I did come, in a condom, she panicked and told her parents that she thought she was pregnant. Relationship didn't last much longer. I think I married her.